Honestly, it is so sad when you have been shown and taught as a child that you cannot make mistakes, that your joy, your exploration, your childishness is not welcomed. When you need to become an adult, not only because you need to tiptoe around the emotions of your parents, but they don't encourage you to get to know yourself, to make those childish things, to try out different hobbies, to travel to different places, to get to know the sea. Like, I was so old when I first time in my life saw the sea. Like, I feel like I have been deprived of so many experiences as a child. I was not guided. I needed to tiptoe around the emotions of my parents because they were stressed, because they were overwhelmed. They were shouting so much at me. For every little minor thing I was shouted upon, even for the mistakes of others, because they didn't know. But instead of apologizing, especially when you're blaming someone for someone else's mistakes and you're not apologizing for that, like, we have this mental health epidemic and people are drinking. There's so many people who are drinking their pain away, the suffering away, because they need to function. They need to go to work 40 hours a week to work, be somewhere else with people you maybe don't even like. I don't know where to start with those videos because there's so much suffering, there's so much pain, and there's so many reasons for that. It's how you grew up, it's trauma, it's childhood. Everyone in us has this little child inside of us, and I know everyone is speaking about that. Yeah, parent your little child, parent your little child. How do you do that? How can you be at the same time this little child with those overwhelming emotions and at the same time become the parent when no one showed you how it is to be a parent? You taking on two roles at the same time, this is so overwhelming, this is so draining, this takes so much energy, and many people cannot or don't want to do that. I'm not blaming them. They don't have time. They go to work. They maybe have already their own children they need to take care of. And then they need to take care of their own little child inside of them. This is such a hard work. Living on this planet is so hard because we have this society which is not helping us to take care of ourselves, not encouraging us, not giving us the tools, the time, the freedom to take care of ourselves. I know that because it took me 5 years to recover from that. I mean, it will haunt me my whole life, honestly. I don't think that this amount of anxiety is normal. Yes, sometimes you don't know things and you need to get to know it, but constant anxiety just because you're trying something like hanging flyers for dog walking because I want to earn a little bit of money, and I have like a very difficult relationship with earning money and money, having money and receiving money, because I didn't even get pocket money as a child. This is how much deprived I was of resources, of love, of anything. And we need to make it up as an adult. And it took me so long where I was not working. I was unemployed. For the first time in my life, when I didn't have this chronic stress from the expectations of others, from my parents, from needing to study, to work, to prove. And also, I developed this identity where I was taking everyone else's needs and emotions first because I needed to do that with my parents. I never took care of myself, and this bottles up with time. And I didn't even know how, because I never had the chance to get to know myself. I never had the chance to figure out what I actually need, what my emotions want to convey, how I can take care of my emotions, because I'm also someone who is very sensitive. I'm a very deeply feeling being. I make art. I need a lot of nature works just to feel settled within myself, because otherwise I get so overwhelmed so quickly, which people were judging me for and taking advantage of, because they saw she's vulnerable, she's overwhelmed, I can do whatever I want to do with her, she cannot fight back. Not only because I can't at that moment in this state, but I never learned that. I never learned any skills, any life skills, nothing. Like I became an adult with 18, 19, 20 years old, and I started to work my first job. I was depressed. I was overwhelmed. I was this. What the fuck? And at that point, I didn't know that this is not normal, that you are not supposed to be overwhelmed by everything, and that you need to rely on substances to just get by. And some people do it their whole life. This is so horrible. I cannot grasp how difficult it is to come out of this when you have been suffering from trauma, complex CPTSD, depression. Those are all names for the same symptom. We are not able to take care of ourselves, of our bodies, of our emotions. We need human connection. We need love. Especially as children, we need love. So it took me 5 years. I was most of the time unemployed. This is quite some time, actually. Right? I know that not everyone is able to do so. From my experience, that it took me so long to rest because I have been disposed to chronic stress that my body said nope. I had headaches, I had chronic pain all over my body. My hips started to make problems, so I could not even walk long distances, right? What they recommend to you when you have depression, because move your body, happy hormones. My body said, bitch, you have been walking for hours in cities on travels. You never sat down, you never took a break. Now you're gonna take a break. Now we're gonna force you. And I was spending so much time on the sofa and doing nothing, researching on YouTube topics I'm interested in, because I couldn't do that as a teenager, because teenagers are supposed to develop their identity, to find out what they are interested in, right? To, separate them from their parents and develop their own style of makeup, of dressing, especially for women now, what movies I like, what topics I like, what values are important to me. Yes, they do change throughout life, but as a teenager, you start to deal with those things. I like that, I don't like that, I wanna do that, I wanna study, I wanna work, I wanna travel. Like, you start to think about the future, you imagine something, where do you wanna go? How do you want your life to look like? But as someone who was suffering their whole life from trauma, you don't even think consciously. The only thing what you want is come out of the situation. Leave, go, stop it. However you can stop it. This suffering, this stress, this unworthiness, you wanted to make it stop. And you first start with substances, you redirect yourself with friends, with parties, with sex. And if this doesn't help, it might lead to severe depression. And to, what's the end state of depression? Not wanting to exist anymore, intending to take your own life, because you have been always shown you don't matter, your feelings don't matter, your needs don't matter, your interests don't matter. So you start to believe, I don't matter. Why should I exist? For what? I don't even know who I am. I don't even know what I like. I have not even someone to talk to and to share how I really truly feel. Because if you go to get help, psychiatric wards and the emergency room, you get medication, and then you're gonna treat like a mental health, someone struggling. They treat you like shit, honestly. So you don't even want to ask for help anymore, because it's so hard to really get to know people who take you seriously, who just give you a hug and they say, you're lovely, you can come out of it, I help you to come out of it. We're gonna find a way together. Who takes you by your hand and says, you are worthy, and you can create a life for yourself where you are happy, where you can thrive. You can come out of it. You can come out of it. This is what I needed to hear. I needed a hug, and I needed someone to tell me you can come out of it. I would have never intended to do it, because I did. I tried once, one time too much, and it didn't work out. I would not be talking here. So this is what I'm doing. I want to encourage people to keep going, to stay alive, to understand that whatever happened to you, you can come out of it, and it's not your fault. It's your upbringing's fault, and it's society's fault, because society doesn't know how to help you and what to do so you can become better. And taking time for yourself, stepping away from responsibilities, from demands, from a workplace where you don't feel safe, is the very first step to do. Taking time for yourself, getting to know yourself. What do I like? What can I do? Yes, please take medication if it helps you. I did that actually at the beginning. But there are also drugs, right? You can take medication for your whole life as if you would be smoking weed. Many people take weed. It's a replacement for other drugs or medication, right? So get the help you can get. But at the end, the solution to it is love. Loving yourself, accepting that you are going through a hard time, accepting that you struggle with some things, accepting that you might be different, that you might be disabled for some while. Because if you judge yourself for not being able to do the things others can do, you never know what they are also struggling and what they rely on to keep going, keep functioning, right? There are studies to how much cocaine you can find in water, on toilet seats, in the parliaments. Like, don't trust those people. Everyone has something what keeps them going. Accepting your struggles, accepting that you have been through something which you never deserved. If you don't have support emotionally, physically, if you need to do everything by yourself, and then you're exposed to chronic stress, and then you don't know how to handle your emotions, and then you rely on coping mechanisms like drinking or smoking, then you judge yourself for drinking and smoking. You need to stop with all of it. You need to accept yourself as you are right now and have faith and believe in that you can get better, that you can come out of it, and that you can become the person who you wanna be. First, figure out who you wanna be, right? And don't judge yourself for that you're relying on places, on people, or on things right now to be able to survive. Because coming out of survive after whatever happened to you is not easy, and it takes time, and it takes self-love, and it takes giving yourself grace, giving yourself time, giving yourself space. This is required. This might take years. Unfortunately, this is the truth, because you cannot eradicate 20, 30, 40 years of abuse, trauma, chronic stress by going on a spa evening, right? It takes years. And the more you take time for yourself, the more you are determined to love yourself through the hard times. You will not depend on proving your worth through productivity, through success, through people. You will love yourself in whatever state you are right now, because you can hold yourself in every moment, situation, and state you are in. Let it be your reminder you are loved, you are worthy, and keep going, because there is a light at the end of the tunnel. I'm sitting here, I'm living proof that there's a light at the tunnel, and it won't haunt you your whole life. It won't.